Yeah, we are so happy to have you with us, Professor McAndrew. You have come all the way from Canada, University of Montreal, to be with us. We are so happy to have you with us in our Hilltop University, USTM. Now, what was your mission of coming to India and that too to our university?
I would say that 20 years ago, long time ago, I was working, as I'm now working, on diversity in schools. And I was always curious to see how India, as a multicultural country, manages diversity, especially at the level of school. Also, Canada and India, although very different countries, they have some things in common, like they're federal states, they have many religions, many cultures. So my first invitation was 20 years ago at National University for Educational Planning and Administration. And for many years I came and I was working with school principal in India. And then with the COVID, I stopped working. And then recently I'm an emeritus professor, I'm retired. And I just decided that it would be nice to see how India has evolved. And I happen to know some key people at USTM. And Assam was always on my heart because I find it a very interesting, and this Meghalaya, but I mean Meghalaya, Assam, this university is really on the border of both. So the Northeast in general, but especially this region, was always on my heart. And it's a very interesting region to study. And your new university is very dynamic. So I felt, and your outreach program is interesting. So I felt interesting for me to be part for a few weeks and regularly come maybe to see how things evolve.
Okay, thank you. You're a visiting professor of our university. We are proud of that. We are very proud. Now, you came on the 10th, right?
Yes.
You came on the 10th, and yesterday you had an interaction, with the students and the faculty. What was your how did you like our students and faculty?
So it was very interesting. The faculty are having a lot of some research projects which are very relevant to my own interests, such as the school performance, identities of students, parenting expectations. So it's very near to what we do in Canada also, but from a different Indian flavor. For the students, they were mostly MA at this stage. Tomorrow and the day after, for 3 days, I'll be with PhD students. The MA students, they were very interested, especially to know career advice and eventually how to study abroad. We discussed also their research topic, but they were more numerous, so we didn't get into too much details. But I discussed especially with them the importance that when you do research, that you be responsible for the communities, that you will go back to the community to share your results. We discuss also how should you include some relevant question, the methodology you use. So we had an open discussion, and they were very active and interesting.
What are your views on cultural diversity?
The cultural diversity is certainly an asset, but having said so, it's always a challenge, because it's not only cultural. I mean, we know that people have different identity markers, such as religion, language, or even some race, although race does not exist biologically, it exists sociologically. So we say people may be identified by their, in quote unquote, race, language. So all this is certainly an asset for a country, but it asks for a lot of compromise and some management, especially at the level of school, and given also the fact that some markers are rather neutral, but some markers are associated with inequalities. And the difference maybe between India and Canada regarding, except for the First Nation and your tribe. First Nation and tribe are a little bit more similar because they've been here for a very, very long time. But when we discuss diversity in Canada, the diversity is more recent. Because we're a recent country. I mean, the first settler came to Canada 1608, and nowadays we have a multicultural population, but mostly from immigration. So the historical roots are less embedded. But in India, when you look at Muslim community, Hindu community, based on religion, or caste, for example, these are systems that have existed for so long that they're more difficult to entangle and provide equity in school, because there's a long time situation. But I think we have common challenges. And I think if I were going to resume it, I would say first, we have to remember that culture is dynamic, not static. We should not be using culture to cast people, like this person is so and so. So recognizing that the individual is active and dynamic. And I would say also recognizing that the same individual has different markers. So you're both a woman, you're both either Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, or Christian. You're also a university teacher or a school teacher. You have many, many identities.
Unity in diversity.
But I would say in the classroom, you need to remember that the students are not they're not only the representative of one thing. They have complex personalities. When we train teachers, this is important too.
I have one question for you. Like, you have come all the way from Canada, and you have a mind to go to our villages, which are in the rural areas. What would you do? What would you like to give or inculcate in the teachers of the rural area in our vicinity?
I wouldn't be that, maternalistic or paternalistic to say I'm going to tell people how to do. I think one thing we don't do enough is ask people what best practices they're already doing. So this is one of my aim, because in the field in Canada now we have more and more this idea of giving voices to teacher, to school principal. So not only the researcher interviewing them, but allow them to help us define research project, what are their needs, and sometimes they don't even know that they're doing good things. And often we do research like, minus, they don't do that, they don't do this, they don't do that, subtractive type of thing. So for at this stage, I just want to hear them about what is their life experience, but also to help them formulate, are they doing good things, they're doing best practices, even very modest, because what I find, and I think same thing in Canada, but especially in India maybe more, you have such a mismatch between the policies and the practices, and often you feel like the policies are such an ideal policy document, and you need to bridge the gap with the practice, implementation. And those people, they're maybe not expert on theory of education, but they live education every day, and they have some things to teach us as much as we can teach them.
They say that the first impression is the last impression.
Okay.
What is your impression about our university? USTM.
Okay, I feel that this university is extremely dynamic. I came here in 2011, I think. At that time, the campus was only a very small campus downtown. And I met with the chancellor at this time, and I gave a lecture, I don't remember on what, but he remember I'd come as a first visitor, and I'd say it's incredible how much the growth you've known. And I like also, I must say, your social media is so active that in Canada, I must be receiving a Facebook page post three a day. So it's very, very dynamic. You keep information very high level, which is very good. And I feel also that people are very welcoming, but also that it's so dynamic. It is not perfect because you're a new institution and you're striving, you're running and doing many new things. But it is extremely dynamic for such a new institution. I know you achieved some good status ranking among Indian universities. So it is very interesting. And the setting, obviously, is beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor McAndrew. It was really lovely to have you here, and we are looking forward. You're going to stay for another, say, 15 days.
Yeah.
15 days. So I'm sure in the 15 days to come, you're going to interact with all the different, the different faculty members. The students are feeling so happy. Today you went to sociology, and they were very happy. So we want that your wealth, your knowledge can percolate down to our students so that you can benefit from your experience. And really, we are so happy. Everyone is happy.
So thank you ever so much for your hospitality and to allow me to learn about this beautiful region and your challenges and also your strength and asset.
Thank you so much.